What happens when you get a medical procedure but receive a faulty device? Well, one of the first steps is reaching out to the Yost Legal Group. Joining us now with more is Tom Yost, the founder of the Yost Legal Group. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Happy to have you here. So we've seen your commercials. We know you've been in the area for a very long time. Tell us a little bit more about the Yost Legal Group.
So one of the things we do at the Yost Legal Group is help people who have been injured by either medical devices that are defective, or a big part of our practice also is helping people who've been harmed by defective pharmaceutical drugs.
And you've been around in the Baltimore area for how long now?
About 30 years this year.
So 30 years, and this specialty with medical devices, how did that even come up? Are you seeing more and more defective medical devices?
Yeah, it seems that more and more drugs are being recalled or withdrawn from the market, and more medical devices are harming people in significant ways, so we decided to get involved.
So are you seeing specific ones right now, or?
Yeah, so there's two products I can tell you about medical devices. One is the eSure birth control device. It's a device that was supposed to take the place of a tubal ligation. The device includes two coils made of nickel metal that are inserted in the fallopian tubes, which cause scarring and cut off the fallopian tubes to make a woman sterile. But the problem is that the devices cause reactions, they migrate, and a large number of women have had to have hysterectomies after implanting these devices.
That's terrible. So
Yeah.
that's one device, and then you said there was a second device as well?
Yeah, and the second device is an area of devices called metal-on-metal hips, hip implants. And we're seeing a lot of different manufacturers, some like Stryker, some like Smith & Nephew, who are recalling a lot of their hips because the metal's corroding. It's causing cobalt metal poisoning in people's bodies. And the hips are also failing more quickly and at higher rates than previous implants. So people have to have them replaced. And that litigation is taking place right here in Baltimore.
It is?
It is.
So, and I know this is probably a complicated answer, so we'll try and be succinct, but how are these medical devices even making it to the market? Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, so the FDA, who approves the right to market these types of medical devices, only requires a little bit of data to get a medical device on the market. They have to show that it's safe and effective through a study usually involving a smaller number of people. And once the product gets on the market, a large number of people sometimes have these implants, and then we start to see a lot more problems. So, for example, with eSure, about 750,000 women have been implanted with these devices, most of them in the U.S. And so for the average hip, maybe 20 or 30,000 people get a single type of hip device implanted.
So if this is happening and we fear that, you know, either ourselves or a loved one has been implanted with one of these faulty medical devices, what are next steps? What do we do? Yeah,
so a lot of times people become aware when the company finally announces, hey, we're having a lot of problems, or the FDA announces, hey, there's a lot of failures in these devices. And what you should do is, number one, read up about, get all the information you can if you have this device implanted in your body. Number two, determine if you are having the harms that these devices may be causing. Talk to your doctor. Report your adverse events, is what they refer to them as, to the medical, to the manufacturer, and call a lawyer to find out what your rights are, because there may be a limited time to make a claim.
And with calling you, this is what you do, you know, so you can walk people through the process, because I mean, if they're coming to you, one, they don't want to necessarily be there because they don't want this medical device to have impacted their life, so they need to go to someone that they can trust, and they can do that with you. You have the expertise, so we appreciate you being here. Tell us a little bit. We can get more information by going to your website. Yeah,
so you can reach our website at www.yostlaw.com.
Okay.
And you can call. We end up giving lots of people information and advice, even if they don't have a harm yet from one of these devices.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Very enlightening information. And we'll be right back with more Midday Maryland right after this. Stay tuned.